English language teaching. Under the covers.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of English Language Teachers React. Really hope you enjoyed the last episode. Loved all the comments that you left, and we're going to have a look at some more clips today, and we'll react and let you know what we would do the same, do differently, etc. I'm not sure if it's from Friends or the spin-off series Joey, but it does involve Joey in an English language class.
Interesting.
Let's take a look.
On a Tuesday. All right, great. Okay, I just gotta go pick up my books. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
No problem. I'll be right here.
Nice to see you again, Maria.
Hello, Mrs. Lafferty.
Oh, welcome. What is your name?
I'm Joey.
Joey, you have a wonderful accent.
Thank you.
Joey, this is an English as a second language class for beginners.
One thing that I would like to talk about is this whole idea of when she's giving her instructions with graded language. Like, none of these clips that we've looked at, I don't really see any graded language with the instructions.
Are you sure you're in the right place?
Oh, I'm in the right place.
Let's get started. I hope that everybody practiced counting to 10 over the weekend.
Yes.
Great. Let's do it together. One, two, three, four.
I mean, like the first thing is she's getting them to, just drill the numbers. So, I would presume that their levels were not that high, that it was a basic English class. Yet, she's giving these long, like instructions with probably vocabulary they've not even learnt yet. It just, it seemed really strange.
Yeah, I would imagine that when they were writing that scene, and maybe a lot of the scenes that we've seen, that they're not particularly researching the accuracy of the language classrooms that they're representing, are they?
Okay, like everybody to take out their homework on the subjunctive tense.
You didn't do it?
I got it.
If the present tense of the verb to be is I am, then the subjunctive tense is if I... Joey?
If I was.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not correct.
It's, if I were.
Very good, Boris.
Joey, you're stupid.
Joey is stupid, Renata.
I mean, particularly that one in Friends, it's clear that they haven't really got a clue, because just the idea of like doing numbers 1 to 10 followed by, so what's the subjunctive of, be?
Yeah.
If, that doesn't make any sense, does it, in any situation, really?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on it as well, just because it's one of those things that I often see teachers, and I'm not just talking about these clips, but, in real life, they're teaching basic vocabulary, yet the instructions that they're using is just, way higher level than even the vocabulary that they're using. And it's one thing that I feel should have a little bit more focus on and a little bit more thought of when you're actually planning the lesson, especially for really low-level students. How are you going to give your instructions?
Yeah. Instructions has to be one of the most well thought out things that the teacher says at any point during the class. ideally, and if you ever have an observe class, you know that you spend some time on your instructions. Some people like to even script them, which, I think there's pros and cons to that. But in observe classes, it's a safe option, isn't it, scripting your instructions? But they have to be, it's a critical point. It's a point where you need to have the student's attention, you need to have silence in the class, and then you need to give these instructions in a way that they understand it, and then you need to do some sort of checking that they understand it, not just assume that they've understood what you've said. So there's a whole range of things you have to go through, and it can be quite easy, can't it, to mess that up, I suppose, basically. Certainly I would say if the instructions are graded higher than the language that's being taught, then there's likely to be a problem. The exception to that could be that if the activity was incredibly well demoed, and then the students are just looking at the demo rather than listening to what the teacher's saying anyway, which, okay.
That's basically what you do if the vocabulary that you're teaching is really low. That's your only option, is demonstration, pretty much, because you don't have anything to work with. So I think a combination of both is always the most helpful.
Demos are powerful, aren't they? It's definitely a powerful tool. And grading your language, I think, instructions is one of the areas where I'm happy for language to be less or more synthetic than it would naturally be, because I have a big thing about synthetic language. I really don't like it, and I really want language to be authentic in every possible case, because I think learning to understand someone who's saying, hello, my name is completely unhelpful when you compare it to the skill of learning someone who's saying, hello, my name's, and then their name, right? I think it's completely unhelpful. I don't think it helps you at all to say how are you versus how are you. I think just start with how are you and forget how are you. It doesn't exist, right? It's got to be how are you from the get-go. It's got to be gonna to start with, right? Forget going to the park. Just start with the authentic stress to begin with. However, when it comes to instructions, I think there is a case for, at least to some extent, letting go of that and starting to, pronounce the words more individually and a lot slower, and obviously using synthetic language in terms of the actual words you use as well, right? Like, you remember when we were in Spain, one of the tactics you can use to give instructions to Spanish students is you use the words that are cognates. So all of the shun words, in Spain are the same word. So when you're giving instructions, if you whip out a shun word, a TIOM word, then the students, no matter what level they are, they're going to know what it is because it's the same word in Spanish. So then you start synthetically converting your own teacher vocabulary to those words, which I think when it comes to instructions is okay, because they're so important.
Instead of saying speech, you say dictation, but then, that's overly personalizing as well. So it's like you say, there's a fine balance. It's a double-edged sword.
Well, I think, like I say, I think it's okay when it comes to instructions.
Yeah.
It's just making sure you come out of that mode when you're then, interacting with the students in another way.
And also for students to be clear that there is a difference, because I've had students come to me that thought that going to and gonna were different words. I mean, they are different words. They have the same meaning, but what does gonna mean, for example? And I'm like, well, it just means going to. So
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah. I
there's
mean,
an
it's
aspect-
like asking what does aren't mean,
yeah.
right? Compared to are not. That's
But I
kind
think
of
that's
what it is,
more of
isn't it?
a higher level issue.
Yeah, well, it's that gets to the point of like one of the things that successful language learners understand, or at some point gain as and sort of insight into the learning process, is that you have to be able to kind of go with the flow and just accept things. Sometimes you can't try to get everything making sense, because that's not how languages work. Languages are not logical. We just impose our logic upon them. The idea that they follow some sort of rule system is completely fictional. It's just it's a map. It's not the territory, right?
Yeah, it's more like a music, like an art, and there are rules, but you know, they're there to be broken, but you do have to learn them at the same time. And it's an incredibly frustrating thing to learn. And it's just one of those things that you learn by doing, like driving a car. It just takes time and to just use it. And if you're kind of studying, you know, you will make improvements. But to try and, you know, just learn how to drive a car by just reading books and, you know, watching videos and not actively actually being in a car, it's not, you know, going to get anywhere.
School, Renata. They go to school.
Okay, Joey, why don't you pick it up where Renata left off? Now, this is a hard part, so take your time.
Oh, boy. Yeah, this looks tough. The bell rang, and the students all went to the auditorium with their teacher. Boom! That's right, Boris. You heard it. Auditorium!
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, isn't it, that out of everything that we've watched so far, we haven't really seen anything which resembles anything similar to communicative language teaching, right? We haven't actually seen any kind of classroom that looks anything like that. There's no horseshoe, there's no communicative tasks, right? It's all been like a very traditional style classroom with like language teaching stamped over the top, which is kind of interesting, isn't it? You know, it kind of
I
goes to show.
don't think I can't think of any movies or TV series that give a good representation of what English language teaching is like today. And I think one of the reasons for that is because it's really difficult. And it's really difficult to show it done well. And to do it well takes a lot of other things into account apart from just here is English. You know, there's cultural aspects, there's different teaching methods, different teaching styles, and you know, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you have to think about. Just going back to when you just named those three matrices, you know, it's how you put that into a film or represent that correctly. I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah.
That's something we'll have to work on. We'll work on a TV show or a movie that's...
I'm just trying to I'm trying to think where it would ever fit.
Yeah, I basically all the TV shows and movies that wherever we see English language teaching, I feel it's just so they can use that as a means for a cheap joke.
I lost my mic somehow, but I think it's come back. So I don't know what happened. I hope it doesn't happen again. Yeah, no, you're right. Cheap. I mean, that's what's going on, isn't it? And not a great deal of research is being done into saying that, there's probably a lot of English language classrooms where there is just all kinds of, it's a bit of a wild west sometimes, isn't it? It's only places where you've got decent training schemes and, decent things going on where, it starts to take a bit more shape. Great. Are they all the clips we have?
That's all the clips that we have for today. So if you're watching at home, please leave more comments. Let us know any other TV shows or movies where they're teaching, especially teaching English language, so we can react to them, or give us any other suggestions of other things that we can react to and give feedback on.
I've got one actually. There's Hank Moody, Californication, when he does the university professor stuff. That could be a good laugh. I haven't seen that in a while.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to check that out. So maybe we can add that on there. And
because
we'll
off the top of my head, there's a few things which come to my mind already, which it even could be like positive things to take. Even though it's really just a cheap joke trick, isn't it?
Well, we'll probably have to incorporate broader areas of teaching, because I feel like I've gone to the bottom of the well of anything that's somewhat related to English language teaching. And there's loads of teaching movies out there, like the Dangerous Minds kind of thing, all these inspirational teacher movies and TV shows that we can kind of look at. But I would like to get more English language teaching clips in there. So like I said, if anyone has any suggestions, just let us know in the comments before, and we'll just wrap this up. Rich?
YouTube.com/Professor Rich. Like, subscribe, share with your mother. It's not useful for anyone who's watching this because you're teachers, and my channel is about learning English. So, yeah.
Well, it might be something that they could watch and review you, or they might be able to, copy and model. For myself, check out teamteacherchina.com. We got the website, also Team Teacher China, all one word, on YouTube, along with Team Teacher English and Team Teacher Baby as well. Thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed all of our reactions. Keep leaving comments and keep watching. Remember, subscribe and like.
Like and subscribe.
I am so lucky to be with the smartest boy in class. Some words are so dog.
Tug? Oh, remember I told you the GH sometimes sounds like an F. It's tough, like rough or laugh.
Oh, Joey, make love to me tonight.
That is good English.